Joe Biden's executive actions could be declared null and void. Oh, the autopen scandal continues. Let's talk about it. All right. If the findings of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform say that the executive actions under Joe Biden were signed via autopen without documented presidential approval, and they're taken at face value, then those actions could be declared null and void. Yeah, illegal without force or effect. Specifically, the clemency actions and the pardons issued in Biden's name, they could be treated as invalid, meaning those granted pardons could technically be subject to liability again, or their legal protection could be pulled back. And this is bad news because there's a ripple effect. If one president's actions are declared invalid because he didn't personally sign or wasn't aware of the signature of the device usage, it opens the door to a mass uncertainty over the legitimacy of many official acts. And it threatens institutional trust, the rule of law, and the continuity of the government decisions. So we got ourselves a scandal. And the House Oversight Committee says, they're going to be null and void. Let's see if there's going to be an investigation. Let's pull up a clip here. Speaker Mike Johnson, here's what he had to say. He said, this reveals every executive action signed by autopen without written authorization from President Biden. It should be voided. Let's play the...
Chairman James Comer released a blockbuster report now on the Biden autopen presidency. And this report includes 47 hours worth of transcripts and testimony revealing that every executive action signed by the autopen without written authorization from President Biden should be voided. This is an unprecedented situation in American politics and government. The actions of President Biden simply were not all his own actions, and there are major implications to that, including all the pardons that he signed.
Major implications. Well, we won't show you all of this clip, but let's take a little look, a little looky-see here at what James Comer has released with the Oversight Committee. He basically says Joe Biden was not, all caps, running the show. So just how much in decline was he? Play the clip.
Was the number one issue in the campaign the president's fitness or his age?
Did you ever see President Biden in a wheelchair?
I do not recall ever seeing President Biden in a wheelchair.
And new information now on the people in his inner circle and how the cover-up actually operated.
Senior aides that worked here until just a couple months ago, the beginning of this year, manipulating an ailing president for their own gain.
How much were you paid for your role in the campaign in 2024?
Just a little bit short of $4 million.
I'm sorry, how much?
$4 million.
You believe that the president should stay in the race. Your own financial stake in the matter was a factor in any way in your advice to the president?
I don't believe that.
And when it comes to President Biden's decline, the official word from Biden world about all these news stories is that nothing has been revealed this week that shows that President Biden was anything but an effective president.
Yes, I noticed that he was aging in terms of his physical condition. I noticed that, he shuffled more.
That he has more stumbling over words and gaffes than he did at the beginning of the term.
His rhetorical skills were not as strong as they had been, and his speeches were less effective, I thought.
We talked about age. We knew it was an issue, and we tried to design a strategy.
We had a discussion at the senior advisor level about whether the president should have a cognitive exam.
Flashback now to the legacy media's complete denial of the president's cognitive decline.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't.
He is just fine. How people interpret that is up to them.
Stop it right there. That's the cover-up. That's the cover-up. And they're always going to do that. Now, Pocahontas. her pride was called into question because there was no way she was going to equate her mental acuity and bring it down to Joe Biden's by saying that anyway, that's where she got caught. And they're all getting caught. Because we know he was in decline. We called him, we said he was in decline. Everybody said we were mean. We're being mean. We're picking on the old man. But now you bring in the autopen thing. And the question that the House Oversight Committee is putting out there is, was he competent enough to know what was being signed in his name by staffers? And as Speaker Mike Johnson said, the ramifications of this are massive. Because what we're witnessing, what we just witnessed, might go down as one of the most surreal chapters in American presidential history. The leader of the free world, the commander-in-chief, the man sworn to uphold the Constitution, his signature, every major move of his administration, maybe being executive not by his own hand, but by a machine, we know that. The autopen presidency, not because automated signatures are new or inherently illegitimate, but because context matters. If the president isn't fully aware, isn't fully engaged, yet the documents keep flowing out in his name, you got a problem. You got a huge problem. Think about it. What is the point of executive authority if the person holding it isn't personally exercising it? Because when the White House becomes less about the president acting and more about the president's name being stamped on what someone else decided, then democracy becomes a puppet show and accountability becomes a joke. You can pay for access at that point. $4 million. Wow. You think he was the only one? There were a lot of people out there, man, put in there, placed as operatives in the Biden White House. And that's what this oversight committee is arguing, that aides using your name, your office, maybe be able to use your signature through a device while your best self, the self you brought into office, is mentally declining and slipping away. And it wasn't that great when he brought it in there. And so they said it was a cover-up of mental decline. They say major decisions, pardons, orders were processed without proper documentation, and that you approve them. But here's the question, Mr. President. You know, if you are not making the decisions, if the hand that signs it's not the mind that thinks, then who is running the show? And what happens to the millions of decisions, the pardons, the orders, the executive actions that flowed in your name? They didn't just raise a red flag. They blasted a siren. The auto pen signature might mean nothing if the person whose name's attached to it didn't authorize or even know it was happening. So the committee says, barring evidence of your personal authorization, those acts are void. Now imagine explaining to the American people, yes, your security, yes, your foreign policy, yes, your pardons. They might have been rubber stamped behind the scenes. And imagine the chaos in the courts, in pardon cases, in treaties, in regulations. The ripple effect of was this signed by the president or by his machine becomes, was this valid? That's not hyperbole. That's trajectory. The committee has asked the DOJ to review all the Biden-era executive actions and the clemencies. So we're left with a moral. A man becomes too weak to steer the ship, yet the ship kept sailing anyway. Man, you talk about a ghost ship. You got the autopilot on, somebody else at the helm, and the signature's just a stamp. And so in a time where America needed some clarity and competence and visible leadership, I mean, think about the things that happened. Think about all the things that happened in the Biden administration. Instead, you got a name on a piece of paper that's not written in his hand or even approved by his mind. And you got all this, we're going to build back, build back better and stronger and all that stuff. The question comes, who built it? Who approved it? Who signed it? And so when you reduce the most powerful office in the world to a mechanized signature, you're not just undermining a presidency, you're undercutting the idea of presidential responsibility by itself. So those of you on the left and you talking heads in the media, shut up, sit down and shut up. You defined him by the way that you wanted him to be, like when he stumbled over something and you thought he was going to take off in a run while he was in his little, robotic walk. And you said, look how virile and competent and strong he looks. Shut up. The man had his toe knuckles on the precipice of eternity. He saw death. And now we got a dilemma. In this generation and generations to come. Was it him? Was it them? Was it the machine? The answer is not going to ever satisfy anybody because it's going to leave holes in the faith, fissures, and trust and the unstable foundations under every decision labeled the president did this. And this isn't partisan. You think everybody thinks I'm being mean. No, this is fundamental. The electorate deserves a president who's present, in command, and aware. And if the signature is automatic, the accountability becomes automatic too for someone else. So if it was automatic that he was going to give his signature and his approval, then it's automatic that we should give him some accountability. So we need to demand this transparency. Yes, this needs to go to an investigation. Yes, this needs to go to a court. We need to demand the record keeping, demand the clarity. We don't accept that the autopen becomes code for someone else behind the curtain. Because when the curtain drops and the show is over and the American people are left holding the bills, it sucks. And that's the country we're living in. Thank God Kamala Harris didn't win the presidency. Thank God. And if you don't think these midterms and the 2028 election matter, because the left has consistently proven that they're willing to put a puppet in power to use an auto pen to get their agenda across, and we can never allow that to happen ever again. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating where podcasts are offered for the Chad Prather Show. Join us Monday through Thursday, 11:10 a.m. Central. Make sure you subscribe to Rumble and also to my YouTube channel. My name is Chad Prather. This is the Chad Prather Show. We've been talking about things, and it's important. Join us next time. We'll do it again. I love you. God bless you. Talk to you then. Bye.